MP and then spent far too long being really defensive about my past. But now I realise just how important this experience was. Seeing this radicalisation up close means that I can impart knowledge on how this happens. I can offer a much more accurate analysis of what's happening to young, angry white lads in regions affected by mass immigration. And that's why I'm doing this video today. I want people to listen to this message, and I hope that politicians might hear this and want to talk to me about it. If this problem's ever to be dealt with, politicians must find out why this problem exists in the first place. And I can tell you exactly why this far-right radicalisation is happening. I can tell you why National Action exists. I can tell you why a lunatic killed Jo Cox, and I can tell you why young men attempted to kill my former MP, Rosie Cooper. The number of far-right terrorists imprisoned in Britain tripled in the space of a year between 2017 and 2018 because of a combination of contributing factors that have left young white men angry and disillusioned. Based on what I've seen and experienced, I would say that this problem exists as a result of a three-pronged attack on the white working class in the UK. So let's imagine an 18-year-old boy from the northwest. Let's call him Sam. He's from a poor part of town, his parents have been out of work for a while, and he feels like the council isn't really doing much for his area. He's seen his parents and friends in the town struggle to find work, and he's also seen an influx of immigrants in recent years. The town doesn't look like it did when he was a kid. And it's a Labour constituency, so the concerns of the native white working class in the town are being ignored. The local MP is always being seen at multicultural events and celebrations of diversity, but refuses to address the issues raised by working class and unemployed white people who are worried about the changing nature of their town. Oh, and nothing's being done about grooming gangs. Everybody in the town knows that it's happening, but no matter how many times it's raised, the Labour MP just keeps quiet about it. It's almost as if they don't want to talk about it. And so Sam feels disillusioned and ignored. The politicians have failed him. He's just ignored, and then when the next election comes around, that same Labour MP wins with a healthy majority, courtesy of voters who don't see the problems that he sees. Sam turns to the media, but he doesn't see anyone representing him there either. In fact, Sam went to a demonstration last week to campaign against grooming gangs, but the media called him a racist. They said fascists had taken to the street to stir up anti-Muslim hate, but all Sam wanted to do was draw attention to the young girls being groomed and raped in his hometown. The MPs ignore Sam and the media lies about Sam. So he gets angrier and he starts attending more marches. He gets angry at the police and he protests more often than ever, and he shouts as loud as he can in the hope that maybe someone, somewhere, will listen. Surely someone must care that this town is being destroyed and young girls are being preyed on. But when Sam's out protesting, gangs of far-left activists turn up. They bottle him when he's leaving the pub. Then they tell his employer that he's a far-right racist, and the only job that he could find, he loses. Sam's friends were also visited by the police and asked if they're teaching their children to hate Muslims. These far-left activists report back to the local press, and the local Labour MP takes a photo with them and thanks them for their activism. Sam's left completely alone, with nobody to turn to, trying to find answers. This is the three-pronged attack. The politicians ignore you, the media smears you, and the far left destroys your life. Now, in most cases, men like Sam just keep on fighting. They understand that the concerns that they have are not far right. They know that they don't hate all Muslims, and they certainly don't hate people because of their race. Most people like Sam just persevere, continue with their life as much as they can. They're perpetually smeared and attacked for having perfectly legitimate concerns. But some men aren't like that. Some men are so angry, infuriated, so let down and so vulnerable that when they search for answers, they find conspiracy theory. They decide that this three-pronged attack isn't just a coincidence. They pin it on the Jews. They blame it on a global media conspiracy run by Jewish people with a view to undermining the autonomy of white people. This is such a tragedy. Vulnerable men, usually not so intelligent men, are so angry and left behind that they're easily radicalized and brainwashed by a real far right. And they get angry about immigrants and the people around them. They want to hurt them. They hate politicians so much that they'll plot terror attacks. They'll consider themselves part of a full-scale war, and they'll do everything they can to cause terror and create further rifts in society. Just like the eco-fascist right-wing terrorist in New Zealand, just like Jo Cox's murderer, just like Jack Renshaw. As a result of this negligence by our politicians, we create monsters in our society, and with them, many innocent victims at the hands of those monsters. And while the threat is admittedly small right now, I don't doubt for a single moment that this problem is growing and it will become increasingly prevalent in years to come.